Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that keyboards just don't really excite me in the same way that a new mouse does. You can watch my videos from over a year ago, see that I am using the Apex Pro. I genuinely think that the Apex Pro is the perfect keyboard, but this keyboard that I'm going to be reviewing is the Wooting 2 Lekker HE, or is it just the Wooting 2 HE? I don't know, it's weird, it's full-sized as well, but these Lekker switches, they are Hall effects. You see that at the bottom of the switch? That right there is a fucking magnet. And with that magnet comes adjustable actuation all the way down to 0.1 millimeters. So you know the SteelSeries Apex Pro, that's 0.4, but now we have 0.1. Do you realize how big 0.3 of a millimeter is? So that is one of the incredible features. They also have this tachyon. I don't know how to say that word. Hopefully it's right. And literally all it does, it disables RGB effects, which cause input lag, and it just optimizes the input. So inspiring. But yeah, this is honestly the most feature-packed like gaming keyboard I think there is. And I will talk about all the features later on in the video, but at the end of the day, this is a keyboard. And if the keyboard sucks, it doesn't matter how many features it has. So first thing I'm going to do is a very long and lengthy sound test. And honestly, I bet a lot of people watching this video were expecting it to have like terrible rattly stabs. Nah, these stabs have some grease on them. And I know that the other big thing about this keyboard, get it? It's such a good joke, is the fact that it's full-sized. And you can see that I am boycotting it by not putting the keycaps on, and yeah, it shouldn't be full-size. Wooting has a 60% version launching this month, or the pre-order launches this month, and then the keyboard's expected to ship out Q2 2022. But putting the questionable size of the keyboard aside, is this an improvement to the Apex Pro? Honestly, I would say if you can make use of some of their features like you already know that you can, then yeah, probably go for it, because all the Apex Pro has to offer is the adjustable actuation. But if you're just looking for a keyboard that's going to have a sick like in-game response and good feeling, there's no reason not to get the Apex Pro really. And one big thing that I wasn't aware of until I actually had this keyboard in hand is that the springs on this are heavier than the springs on OmniPoints. I think it's around 61 grams of actuation force. I had to convert it from centinewtons, I think was the unit of measurement they had listed on their website. And that's compared to 45 grams of actuation force on OmniPoints. But the main thing you're going to notice with this difference is it is much harder to get any accidental presses in game typos on the Wooting, even with 0.1 millimeters of actuation, versus 0.4 on the Apex Pro, just because the physical switch that you're touching is lighter with OmniPoints, but they are both Hall effect switches, which is why I'm comparing them. Hall effects are the smoothest linears. You don't need to lube them since they're a contactless switch, but Wooting actually does decide to lube these. I don't know why. It doesn't do anything in regards to friction, but maybe it's just for the sound. Oh wait, I haven't done a sound comparison. I know you guys love the sounds. And while I mentioned the weight of the Lekker switches being heavier, that does not cause me any problems in game. And the biggest thing you notice is the increased accuracy when typing. So I'm sure some people will prefer that to a incredibly light 45 gram switch. And I don't think I can notice it being faster in game, but when you're spamming a switch on the Apex Pro, definitely feels like you're clicking it faster than the Lekkers. Also, the keycaps that come with this board, at least the ABS ones that they sent out to me, were pretty shit. So I threw on these Razer Phantom keycaps. So the pricing can be $175 if you opt for no keycaps. It's $185 if you get their default ABS, and then 10 more for PBT. I would recommend just going no keycaps and then putting whatever you prefer on. This whole video, I've been mentioning the features of this keyboard, but I haven't actually talked about them besides the adjustable actuation, which I think everybody's familiar with. It makes a lot of sense. But all of these other ones, I'm pretty sure are exclusive to Wooting. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Rapid trigger. It's honestly hard to explain. This little GIF they have helps make sense of it. So the switch can sense whether it's being pressed down or released. So what rapid trigger lets you do is set a sensitivity for how much you need to release the key for you to be able to press it again. So you get rapid triggering of the keys. It's pretty, I don't know how much this really helps. It's definitely something that's taken a bit of getting adjusted to, and there are some accidental releases if you don't like give it a confirmed enough press. So if you are rapidly pressing switches, you can see how this would shave off some very minuscule amounts of time, but it's just a unique feature nonetheless. I left it off for some time and it didn't really make the experience any worse, so it was pretty hard to notice. The tachyon mode allows you to lower latency, not much to explain there, and then dynamic keystrokes. And dynamic keystroke will be getting a video of its own at some point, so make sure to sub so you don't miss it, because I just think there's so much that you can do with this, especially in Fortnite. And I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but you can see it's sort of like a macro. When I press down left shift, it activates K and L, but there's a step beyond that. Now, when I release it, it activates P and Z, and I can have it when I start to release it, it clicks P, and then when I fully release it, it hits Z. So it's just, there's so much that you can do with this. I think it's really just a feature that the human mind may not be ready for yet. I think Razer has an analog keyboard, but analog movement is the reason the original Wooting keyboard was popular. And you see, it basically allows you to turn WASD into controller inputs, which gives you gradual movement. It was really popular in Fortnite for double movement, so much so that they made, fucking open up, okay? They made a universal double movement software for any keyboard. And the thing is, the universal software works better than anything I was able to tweak it to. So I've just been rocking with that. So if you play Fortnite, don't buy it exclusively for the double movement, obviously. But people who play racing game shit like Rocket League, apparently having that analog input makes a huge difference. I can't personally vouch that though, but it is nice for double movement. And I think that covers it for features unique to this keyboard. And once again, video on dynamic keystroke and rapid trigger, that will be coming soon, because I am going to keep using this keyboard. I don't know if it's going to be my forever main yet, because I just love the Apex Pro so much. It's a weird relationship, but this definitely has more premium like stabilizers and a sound, I guess a better typing experience as well. Another thing is that it does have a USB-C detachable cable, which the Apex Pro, of course, does not. It has kickback feet, Apex Pro does as well. It's an aluminum plate, a really stiff bottom mount. There's like no flex, but it's just what I like. A super smooth switch, nice bottom out, very fast actuation. And even though there are some things I would change about this keyboard, mainly the full-size layout and probably just a slightly lower spring weight, I am still going to give it the seal of approval. And yeah, if you're into keyboards that actually have something to offer and are not just aesthetic money drains, it has my recommendation, honestly. Like, I don't even know what to do with this. It's a KBD 75. It just sucks. And the last thing to mention is that the Lekker switches and Omni points are both produced by Gateron, just for the different companies under the different names. So the Apex Pro could have the features that Wooting has. So maybe we could see a refresh with a detachable cable and maybe some updated features from SteelSeries. Way too much wishful thinking. That's going to be all for this video. This keyboard really is not that heavy at all. And have I mentioned I don't like the layout, but it does stick to your desk pretty well. It's just pretty large. Have you noticed that? But Omni or fucking Hall Effect switches are truly just, once you go Hall Effect, you don't go back, at least in my experience. Completely pilled on these two keyboards as my top recommendations, but realistically, use a $30 keyboard with MX Blues, you're perfectly fine. But that's all. Like and sub if you enjoyed the video. Let me know any questions in the comments. Peace.